So I don't know if some of you saw Sarahjoy share Larry Ward's article from Lion's Roar, but it is a great article, and I'm going to share part of it with you while we're sitting at the beginning of class. I think he has some good words to share with us this morning. So, but to start with, let's go ahead and take a comfortable seat. Just take a moment to connect to the earth. And I hope that you are taking time every day to be in nature, to connect with nature. So even now, as you take your seat, can you feel how you connect to the earth beneath you? And as you reach down into the ground, lengthen your spine up towards the sky. Begin to find your breath, to deepen your breath. So you might be practicing balancing the inhale and the exhale. You might be doing this with your regular breathing. Let's have the breath right now, though, be through the nose. Or you might be practicing Ujjayi breathing with the tip of the tongue behind your upper two teeth, a hollowness at the back of the throat, and then tone deep through the throat so that you hear that inner sound of your breath. So as you take the time to connect to your inner self, your inner body, your breathing, taking your time to do a little survey of your own inner weather pattern. So one of the things Larry Ward, he's talking about, and this was just written in the past week, and he's talking about, what do we do? And he says, some of the things he says are, to me, the task before us is first of all self-care. Who would have thought we'd have a pandemic worldwide in the midst of this? This is the power for me of the pandemic. It has laid things here. It has laid things bare for anybody who loved being unclear. For anybody who was addicted to dissociating from other people's suffering. and from other people's pain.
Oh, there's Mr.
And one of the things he's saying, let me just mute this mic. I think we have to create communities of resilience. Yes, this community of resilience is one of kindness, openness, generosity, sanity, and loving. Just mute the microphones. Just let that settle into you for a moment. Again, a community of resilience. So in this community of resilience, there's kindness, openness, generosity, sanity, and loving. And he's talking of practicing with a couple mantras. So stand up in this house of belonging and take your seat at the table of healing and transformation. Take your seat, stand up, be present, care for yourself, love yourself. Because as you love yourself and care for yourself, that love will leak out, it will spill out all around you with the fragrance of holiness. And ride the winds of change, unafraid. Embrace their wild resilience and the vision of what is really possible for us together. So even as you take your seat this morning, and even though we may not be in the same room with each other, we are still here together. So taking a moment to just to remind yourself you are not alone right now. And even as we sit together, we can share in this same intention. So taking another deep inhale and a complete exhale. One more time, a deep inhale. And with your next exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. So this morning, I'll chant the sound of Om and sing Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu. So the sound of Om, using the vibration of sound to move through the central channel of your body. And then chanting together, may we be protected. Together, may we be nourished. May our practice have great energy. And may it bring light and illumination to dispel any darkness. And may we not hate each other. May we build a community of love. So to begin, take a deep breath in. Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saviryam Bharavai Tejasvinavarim Tamastu Ma Vidvyashavai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And with your next exhale, you can bow your head towards your heart. Release your hands and lift your gaze. So I want to come into Virasana. And so that might mean for you, that might mean that for some of you, I'm going to just move my blankets out of the way and back up a little bit. For some of you, that might mean taking a blanket. I mean, we all might like having a blanket under the knees. And when you set that blanket up, let the ankles dangle over the back. Some of you will come to kneeling. You might want a block. You're going to take your hands behind your knees to make some space behind the knee. Pull the flesh behind the knee back towards your feet and out to the side, so that as you sit back, you have a little more space at the back of the knee. If your knees are like, some of you are going to go, my gosh, my knees, they do not like that. Don't sit in Virasana if your knees are like complaining the whole time. In other words, I would take a blanket probably to go under my straight legs and raise your pelvis a little higher. So some of you might, like I might take this blanket into thirds, sit on that, and sit with two legs straight, okay? So if Virasana is not a pose for you, please take two straight legs to begin. Some of you will be okay coming into Virasana. Move my chair out of the way. And as you take your seat, whether you're up on sitting in Virasana on a block or you're sitting with the legs straight, can you drop your attention inside? And can you bring your attention to the pelvis and the perineum of your pelvis? And can you notice the perineum, where is it? And what direction is it pointed right now? So you can get a sense of its connection, the position of the perineum and how that relates to your lumbar spine. So just notice in sitting right now, if for some of us, if we're in Virasana and the pelvis is too overly tilted forward, you'll feel the lumbars are getting pushed forward. And for others of us, we might have the opposite. We have the perineum pointing a little more towards the pubic bone, and the weight is back farther. And we go, what's that doing? How does that load the lumbar? So we're looking for which direction do I need to go in order to lengthen my spine, to feel myself rise up, to feel my heart over the top of my, so like we have the pelvis and the rib cage and the head, if we're looking at bones. Or we could say we have the pelvic floor, the diaphragm, and then, you know, the thoracic diaphragm. So how do I balance these in my body based on my shape? Because we all have a different shape. So please take time to notice that. And then we're gonna take, let's have you take your, no matter which pose that you're sitting in, you're gonna put the right foot on the ground. So whether you might have your left leg straight, right knee bent, or you'll have your left leg in Virasana, right knee bent, because we're gonna take a twist. Some of us are gonna wanna have a block off to the right. It depends how high you are from the ground. And we're just gonna inhale all the way up. So once again, we're finding the length in the spine, and the exhale, let's turn towards your right. So you can just have a hand at the outer knee, depending on the height of the pelvis. We're just beginning to wake things up. Another deep inhale. And then exhale, go ahead, come back to center. I'm gonna take my prop, I'm gonna move it over to the other side. And before we switch the foot, let's just remind ourselves again of the space from the pubic bone all the way out to the outer hip, the greater trochanter. Remember that whole line? So oftentimes we think of it stopping at midline. Remember, it goes all the way out to where your greater trochanter is, your outer hip. So now when you take the other foot and you put it on the ground, can you remember this space on the down leg side, even if it's straight or the knee is bent, that space, that crease coming all the way across, so that as you take the right hand to the outer knee and you begin to twist towards your left, can you put your attention into that space on the back on your right side, from the crest of your pelvis to the top of the outer hip. Breathing deeply. I just can't say enough about practicing yoga. So many levels. Just so many levels of how it nurtures us physically, psychologically. And then we're going to come back to center. Great. So we'll go ahead and come out of Virasana. Can you take either your blocks, to put your hands on your blocks, and take a downward dog with hands on blocks, because we have not opened up the calves at all. So the calves might be kind of stiff. So hands could be on blocks, downward facing dog. So we're opening up the backs of the knees, especially those of us who maybe were sitting in Virasana. And here, once again, you can bring your attention into the perineum of the pelvis. For some of us, we're gonna want the pubic bone and the perineum to be going between the inner thighs to lengthen the spine. If some of you have had like a hamstring injury or something like that reoccurs for you, you might actually want to just tone the sit bones a little toward each other. So we are all unique. So take another deep breath in. Complete exhale. And then let's inhale and step the right foot forward. So we have a low lunge. Back heel is lifted. Hands can be on blocks, and blocks can be as tall as you want them. And then we're going to step the right foot back. There's downward dog again. And step the left foot forward. Low lunge, hands on blocks, blocks at any height. Back heel's lifted. And then we're going to inhale, step forward. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale halfway. And exhale, fold. Folding down into Uttanasana. Let's shift the hands up to your hips. Inhale, come up to standing. And exhale, hands in front of your heart. And then go ahead and release both arms. Great. All right, so let's see, I'm gonna just tilt this camera up slightly, just so you can, tricky, huh? All right, and then I want to take Padangusthasana with the chair. So I've got my chair. So like I was saying before, let me show you first in case you're gonna go over to a spot where there's a wall. Like I could have the back of my chair just a few inches from the wall. And if I had a wall there, I might even have a block between the chair and the wall because I know that my hamstrings are relatively long. But because I don't have a wall there, I won't worry about it, but I am going to put a blanket on the back of my chair to pad it like that. And so I'm going to stand on my left leg and I'm going to put my right foot up. And when I do the standing leg, I'm going to face myself not straight toward the chair, but a little angled with the chair. So see, my right leg's going to go up there. And so when I do, I'm going to shift my weight over here. Some of us could stack blocks on the chair. Remember this crease at the top of the pelvis, that I want to keep that open. So when I shift my weight over and I figure out, oh, what's the distance from my chair? So that when I do put my leg up on the chair, are you standing on your left leg? Let me see. Whichever, on your standing leg, take the web of your hand and put it at the outer hip of the lifted leg. Take it into the crease, the thumb into the groin crease, and the fingers will be on the outer hip. So thumb is going towards the pubic bone. Thumb towards the pubic bone, fingers towards the greater trochanter. Take your fingers on the outer hip. So you make that hand space really wide. Yes, good. And you notice right there, now you go, okay, so that space of the web of my hand between my thumb and my fingers, I want to know that that is riding back and down. It's not lifting up towards the top of my pelvis. If I can't keep my outer hip down, then I have my leg too high. Does that make sense? And I'm kind of at an oblique angle to my leg. I'm not facing my leg that's on the chair, and I'm not completely facing my standing leg. Once I've got that, then I'm going to actively reach into my standing leg, feeling the inseam of the standing leg come towards the midline of that leg. And then let's inhale, and the standing leg arm, reach it up to the sky. Reach that stand, and then, so now you've got that arm up, and you're reaching down. And I'm still noticing that on the lifted leg, oh, I felt it want to kind of, the greater toe, everything rolling in, and I'm gonna reach it back and down, the outer hip down. And then I'm going to take the hand of the lifted leg out a little towards my knee. Good. Inhaling and really lengthening up. And with the exhale, I might take my torso slightly towards my lifted leg. I'm still really strong in my standing leg. And then we're going to come back to vertical and switch sides. So you can turn around and face the other way, or you can move your chair, or whatever works for you, whatever your situation is. So then I'll take that leg up onto the back of the chair, the counter, the blocks on the seat of the chair, whatever situation I have set up. All right. And then I'm going to reach into my standing leg. Strongly reach into my standing leg. I'll take a hand of the lifted leg towards that outer hip crease, just so I can be in touch with what's happening there. Knowing that I'm not going to necessarily try to use my hand. My hand is there to detect. It's like the detector. And then we'll inhale, lift the arm of the straight, of the standing leg. And then, so Lise, because with the knees and things, on the lifted leg, you're going to want to really be reaching from the outer knee to the outer heel. And you could do this on both legs, really. And then from the outer knee up to the greater trochanter. Oh, and then we can side bend a little. Yeah, that gave a little opening, I felt. A little side bend. Inhaling deeply, another exhale while you're there. And then we'll inhale, come up. Release the arm, release your lifted leg. Standing. Inhale, lift both arms. Exhale your hands back in front of your heart. All right, and then release both arms. You can come back to your mat if you went somewhere else. I'm going to move my chair off to the side. Bring my blocks around to be in front of me, and we're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. So feet wide apart, feet parallel. Hands on the hips, top of the pelvis. Inhale, lift through the top of the breastbone. Exhale, bow forward. Hands will come down to either your blocks or the ground. Let's inhale halfway. Lengthening the spine out the crown of the head. And exhale, bow forward one more time. Your next inhale, come halfway again. Hands can still be on blocks or the ground. We're going to take a twist. So if you'll bring a block or your hand, your left hand, into the space between your two hands. Reach strongly from the inner knee to the heels, both legs. Reach straight into the hand on the ground. Inhale, turning towards your right. Exhale back to center. When you're ready, reaching into the earth, both from the inner knees to the heels and from the outer shoulder all the way into the hand, twisting. And exhaling back to center. Bowing forward. Inhaling halfway. Exhale, take the hands to the hips. Inhale, come up. And we'll step the feet together. And we're going to take tree pose. So if you want to go to a wall, please feel free to go to a wall. You're going to stand on the right leg first. So make it so that the left knee will support you at the wall. And then when you're ready, start to shift the weight into the right leg, reaching all the way from the inner thigh to the earth. And when you're ready, pick up the other leg. So if I'm at the wall, my left knee is going to find the wall. My hands can be in any position. They could be wide, they can be in front of the heart, they might be alongside your ears. And then we'll release. And the second side when you're ready. Release. And then let's set up for side angle pose. A little more length in our side bodies. So you'll take your feet wide apart, take a block to the right outer shin. Maybe there's one. You can have one or two blocks to support you. So you're going to trick your right foot out, left foot in slightly. When you're ready, inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, side angle. So there you're pointing the perineum to the back foot. Opening through that skyward side of your body. Creating more space, more resiliency in your tissue. With your next inhale, rise. And exhale, we'll switch the feet. Inhale, lift both arms. Take your time. No rush as we exhale over to side angle. So even as you reach from the crest of the pelvis on your skyward side, all the way to that outer heel, lengthening your inner thigh of the front leg. And is there room to turn the heart? Inhale, come up. And exhale, release both arms. Hands to the hips. Inhale through the breastbone, lifting through your heart. Exhale, we're taking a wide-legged forward fold with downward dog arms. So you'll walk the hands forward. Finger pads or knuckles, they can be on the ground or the blocks, whatever you need in order to open up the backs of your knees. So much gratitude for the ability to work with my body in all these ways. You feel that sense of gratefulness. And then we'll walk the hands back. Shift them to the hips. The weight goes back, hands come up, and inhale, come up. Great. And then step the feet back together. Mountain pose. There are so many challenges that we face every day, whether they're physical, emotional, psychological. But the practice, our yoga practice, whether it's asana, pranayama, meditation, all the different practices we do, I can feel how they create more space within me, more ability to manage. So let's bring your blocks to the top of your mat. And we're gonna move through some sun salutation. I'll go sideways. And so when you're ready, standing up at the top of the mat, there's your blocks down there to help you bring your hands together in front of your heart. And when you're ready, inhale, lift both of your arms. Lift your heart, reach into the ground, lengthen up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, right foot back. So you're welcome to either stay in the low lunge or make a transition to the upright lunge. If you're upright, bring the hands in any position. What position of the arms helps in nurturing you today and keeping you, either maybe you're just needing to find more stability. Let's take the arms out if they're up. Exhale, bow. All the way down. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, take your other leg back. And inhale, rise. You feel the strength at the back of your thigh, helping stabilize you as you reach up with the arms or your heart. And then inhale the arms out. Exhale, bow. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, bow. Inhale, rise. Exhale your hands back in front of your heart. Inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. You can have hands on blocks if you like, or hands on the ground. This kind of depends on how the calves feel this morning. We're going to inhale, plank pose. Exhale, let's touch the knees to the ground. If your hands are on blocks, you could move them out of the way, bring the chest down. To start, please come up on your forearms. So the elbows as wide as the shoulders, the wrists as wide as the elbows. Legs out long behind you. And now, can you lift the abdominal organs, the lower abdominal organs up towards the back of the spine? So you feel that space between the belly button and the pubic bone is a little lifted away from the ground. And notice when you do this, what happens at the back of the sacrum. So you can go back, you can kind of experiment, you can go, okay, I'm gonna let go of that, and I'm gonna let my belly come to the ground, and then notice that space at the back of the sacrum, the low back. What is that space like? And then when you give a little tone to the deepest layer of abdominals, what happens right at that sacrum, SI joint, that whole area? Do you feel it get broader or narrower? And then with that little lift of the belly, can you start to lift the top of the breast? How do I do these two things at the same time? Pressing into the forearms as well. And then we're going to exhale, take the elbows wide, come back down towards the floor. Slide your hands back so the palms are along your side ribs. Strengthen the inner thighs and inhale, come to cobra. A little tone at the low belly again. Exhale, lower. Make a little pillow for your hands and rest your forehead or chin on the back of the hands. And just breathe deeply. And then after your next exhale, can you slide the hands back one more time? Place the palms on the ground, forehead on the floor. And inhale, come into another cobra. So a little tone right above the pubic bone. A lot of strength for sure in the arms. Exhale, bow. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, plank, and then downward facing dog. We're going to be in downward dog for about 5 breaths. Strongly reaching into the finger pads and knuckles. Rib cage going towards the pelvis. Inhale deeply, and then with your next exhale, step toward the hands. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale your hands back in Anjali Mudra. And release both arms. And let's turn, take a wide stance again. Grab your blocks for triangle pose. Let's turn the feet to the right. A block at the outer shin. You can get your blocks all set up. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, triangle. So again, feel that you're pointing the perineum to the back foot. Spine is long. And if you like, lift your upper arm. Spine is long. Do you feel, remember when you were just in standing a little bit ago? So notice what's happening on the front leg. Do you still feel that crease opening all the way to the back of the greater trochanter on the front leg? So that when you feel the pelvis, even the on the left side of the pelvis, it comes a little forward. If you try to pull it back, you're going to feel that space at the front hip become more jammed up. Let that be really broad at the front hip. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And then we're going to inhale and rise. Using the full inhale to come up, spin the feet the other way. Inhale the arms out. And exhale. So as you come into triangle, just noticing like what's happening through the front hip. And when the spine, when you go, that's it for me, then you take the hand to the block. Balance the weight in the hips. Rib cage turns to the sky. And the gaze is either, it really depends on your neck, right? So it's either straight ahead or up towards the sky. But before the head ever looks up, make sure the rib cage is turning. Strongly reaching both legs, crown of the skull. And then we'll inhale, come up. Exhale, one more wide-legged forward fold. Downward dog arms, if that's all right with you. Deep breathing, please. We can do this. We can do this. Take that deep breath in. All the discipline, all the things you practice. Walk the hands back. Shift them up to the hips. Come to standing. And let's step the feet together again. All right. So one more little standing piece. The triangle to half moon to triangle. Now one thing you might do, let me move these blankets out of the way. And certainly if you don't want to do the triangle to half moon, you could always just do half moon or just triangle again. If you do decide you want to try, going from triangle, to half moon, I'll move my chair in case it's too distracting. Because this stands for triangle, it's not as long as side angle, right? And so what you will do in a moment, you can go to triangle. When you step towards your half moon, I like to take a little baby step, move my block forward, and then lift myself up. And take your time to be there. When you step back, we'll give it another roll. Does that sound all right? Are you ready? Or did you already go? Stay where you are if you're going, whatever. Otherwise, do set up. So you've got the front leg ready. Inhale the arms out. Exhale, triangle. Trikonasana. Take your time there. Find this place. Reach through both legs. Turn the rib cage. Lift the arm maybe. Breathe. Inhale deeply. And with your next exhale, release the top arm, take a little baby step, move the block forward, and then straighten your standing leg, reach through the lifted leg. Remember the inner thighs, we worked on that. Lots of tone towards the inseam of the leg, both legs. Then we might bend the front knee, step back, take a moment, triangle. Inhale, come up. Any questions before the other side? You're welcome to ask a question. All right, second side then.
Hey, Lynn,
Yeah.
when you're in half moon,
Mhm.
is it okay? Well, I know it's okay, but I mean, normally I look up, but is it also a good posture just to be looking down?
It really depends so much on the neck. So, you know, to take the gaze up towards the hand, to the thumb, is just going to require more balance. So it's fine to look down at the right hand, the down arm, or straight ahead, or up at the up arm. Any of them. Yeah.
Hey, Lynn, I have a question too. So you know how it's very tempting on half moon for the down leg to kind of turn in to balance yourself.
Yeah.
What can I focus on to, like, I get confused. I'm not sure where to focus to keep that from being
So when you make that little transition, you look down at your foot before you ever lift the back leg, make it straight, yeah? And then when you pick up your back leg, check your front foot again. Is it pointing straight ahead or did it do its little walk? You can keep your eye on it, and then just trust. You know, you can glance at it those couple times, and then you're gonna feel, you know, the texture under the foot, and you're just gonna see if it stays.
Okay. Thank you.
I know, it likes to do that little, oh, it's so hard to stay straight. Great, thank you for those questions. Shall we give it a roll? All right. So when you're ready, inhale the arms out and exhale to triangle. You can always have the hand on the hip to start. The block can be tall. Balance the weight in the hips. Oh my gosh, reach all the way through that leg, the front one especially. Make sure the weight isn't all in the outer heel. Inhale again, and with your exhale, make a little bend to the front knee. A baby step, you move your block, and then begin to straighten that front leg. So Nancy's looking at her foot, she's going foot. There you are, okay, there goes my leg straight. My back leg, I gotta keep that really toned. And now I'm just gonna trust. I'm gonna have faith. So I'm getting better. And I know it takes time. Nothing happens. Sometimes it takes a good year or more. And then we'll step back down, visit triangle for a moment. And then let's inhale and come up. Great. And then we'll release the arms, we'll step back, feet together. Yeah, it's already doing better. I don't know how I'm so like, sometimes I go, if I have to go a few days of not doing yoga, or I don't have to, but I don't or something, a couple days, and I feel like a zombie walking around. It's crazy. So now we're gonna come down to the ground. We're gonna have our blocks available because I want to come into, but first, let's take another twist. So let's take one of our blocks and sit on it. And if the knees are okay, can you bring your right foot to your left sit bone? That's gonna bring, when you take your right foot to your left sit bone, your right shin comes towards the ground. Again, if your knees are not happy with this, don't worry about it. Just do a straight legged version of the twist. You could go back to how we were in the beginning. Otherwise, if you're able to sit on the block and bring the right heel to the left sit bone. And then the left foot can either be on the left side, or for some of you, Grudleys, I love the bolster, bring the foot across to the other side. So we're gonna turn toward the left. So I'll take my other block or something off to my left side, embrace my knee, and take a little twist here. Sometimes I can embrace my knee, or maybe my outer elbow finds my outer knee. And then I'm going to come back to center. Should we switch sides? So that means I'm bringing my left heel towards my right sit bone. My right foot either on the right side or the other side. The big toe doesn't have to touch. I've got the block for my right hand, and I'll either hug my knee or take my elbow to the outer knee. And then come back to center. All right, so now let's come off of that. And I'm gonna have a blanket nearby. And now I think I'll take one of my blankets and I'm gonna fold it in half so it's, longer. Like that. And I'm gonna put another blanket on top of that one. So I've got both of my 2 blankets stacked there. And I could even put a third up there. Or if I had a bolster, I'd probably use the bolster even, or a bolster on top of a blanket or something like that. And I'm gonna sit in front of those blankets, then bring my feet on the other side of them. Then I'm gonna lie down and pull the blankets underneath my pelvis, so that I can bring both knees up, and the blankets are giving me that little extra lift so that I can get my knees up easier. My pelvis is lifted up off the blankets, low back long. I'm just gonna hug my knees for a moment. I might actually take my hands behind my knees. Oh my gosh, I wish I had my strap. Woo. where is it? Is your strap nearby? Because it's so nice with the strap. Let's grab the strap and take that version of Hashimoto Tanasana that we did last Friday. So once again, when I come down, I don't come down with my pelvis on the blankets. I do that once I'm on the floor. Then I'm going to take my strap with a big old loop in it, bring my knees up, take my feet in the strap, in the loop, arms in the loop. So now I've got 2 straight legs and 2 straight arms. And I'll take my arms overhead. This is a version of, I forget all the prefixes to this Hashimoto Tanasana, but it's a nice supported. My palms are facing up towards the sky if my arms are overhead. Otherwise, if your arms are not able to touch the ground, doesn't matter. I'll just have my arms up and my legs up. Very good. And then I'm gonna take my arms out, take my feet out, take my arms wide, my knees bent, knees are toward the chest. And then with an exhale, I'm gonna take my knees toward my right elbow. And then I'm gonna exhale, knees back to center. And exhale the knees toward the other elbow. Come back to center. And then feet to the floor. Heels to the ground. I'm going to lift my pelvis and slide my blankets toward my feet. So now my pelvis is on the ground, torso on the ground, feet on the floor. And let's take happy baby here. Now we've got the pelvis on the ground, so we could either take hands behind the thighs, hands on the shins, hands on the little toe side. And then can you bring the soles of the feet toward each other? They don't have to touch, knees wide apart. A reclined Baddha Konasana. And then we're going to bring the knees back together, hands on the knees, holding the knees to the chest. Inhale, take the knees and arms length away. Exhale, draw them in. And then you're going to bring yourself to resting. You're welcome to just push that blanket down there to go under the knees. And take Shavasana, and then we'll come up with a little time to do some pranayama. This community of resilience is one of kindness, openness, generosity, sanity, and loving. Take your seat, stand up, be present, and care for yourself. Love yourself. Because as you love yourself and care for yourself, that love will leak out. It will spill out all around you with a fragrance of holiness. So you can take your seat at the table of healing and transformation. And deepening your breath right now, and you start to awaken the body to movement. Make a transition up to a comfortable seat for Yogi Mudra. Once we come up to sitting, I'll remind you what this pranayama is. You'll want to be in a comfortable seat. It can be seated in a chair. You can bow to the chair. You can sit on blankets, whatever is comfortable. You can sit just kneeling. For some people, that will be comfortable. Whatever is a comfortable seat for you. You're going to want to have a surface that you can loosely clasp your hands behind you and be able to bow forward and for the forehead to touch onto something. So it could be another block or blankets or a combination. So when we do this practice, again, the hands they're not pulling the shoulders back, they're just loosely clasped behind you. The inhale will be coming up. So we'll start with an inhale and seated. The exhale is bowing forward, the forehead touching and suspending the exhale. When you feel the urge to inhale, you just come right back up. And your exhale, you come back down. If you would like to practice this, we can do this for a few minutes. Again, when you exhale on the way down to the forward fold, you just suspend the exhale out. Until you feel that urge to inhale, come back up, and then repeat this 3 more times. The next time you rise, you just stay seated. And join your hands in front of your heart. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for your practice. I'm going to stop the recording